tucked away on the dusty outskirts of Austin, Texas, where endless cornfields ripple like a golden sea under a scorching sun. Farmshare ain't just a farm. It's a goddamn treasure. Not one of those glitzy corporate spreads with gleaming tractors and fancy irrigation systems, but a scrappy, soulful place run by a nonprofit with a heart bigger than the Lone Star State itself. It's a training ground for greenhorn farmers, folks with dirt under their nails and dreams in their eyes, learning to sow seeds, coax life from the soil, and turn backbreaking work into bountiful harvests. More than that, Farmshare's a lifeline, hauling free veggies and hope to the struggling families of East Austin and Travis County, filling empty bellies and sparking weary smiles. Every ear of corn, every sweet potato, carries a promise. Nobody goes hungry on Farmshare's watch. At the helm is Casey Frank, a weathered, middle-aged fella with salt and pepper hair and a grin warm as a summer afternoon. Casey's the kind of guy who'd give you the shirt off his back, then crack a cold beer and tell you a story. He used to teach biology in a stuffy classroom, but he traded chalkboards for plowshares, pouring every ounce of his soul into Farmshare. To him, it's more than dirt and crops. It's a vision of a world where everyone's got a seat at the table and the land's loved like family. Right beside him is Lynn, a young Vietnamese-American woman, fresh out of college with fire in her heart and a tattered notebook stuffed with scribbled notes on soil pH and planting cycles. Lynn's got a quiet intensity, her dark eyes always scanning the fields, dreaming up ways to make the next harvest better. For her, Farmshare ain't just a job. It's where her roots are sinking deep, a place that feels like home after years of searching for where she belongs. Summer of 2022, Farmshare was pure magic. Rows of sweet potatoes shimmered emerald green, cornstalks stood tall like proud sentinels, and chubby pumpkins hid shyly under their leafy blankets. The air buzzed with the hum of cicadas and the sweet, earthy scent of turned soil. Lynn had a ritual. Every evening, she'd wander to the field's edge, her boots crunching on dry grass, and watch the sunset paint the crops in hues of amber and rose. Standing there, the breeze tugging at her ponytail, she'd whisper to herself, "This is paradise. This is what it's all about." Her heart swelled with pride, knowing every stalk and vine was feeding folks who needed it most. But that paradise, bathed in golden light, was about to be torn apart by monsters lurking under the silver glow of the moon. One fateful morning, Casey and Lynn headed out to check the fields, their boots kicking up dust in the early light. They stopped dead in their tracks, hearts sinking like stones. A whole section of the farm, vibrant with sweet potatoes just the day before, looked like a war zone. Dirt churned up like a tornado had hit, crops trampled into the mud, and gaping pits big as washtubs scarring the land. Lynn dropped to her knees, her hands trembling as she picked up a half-eaten sweet potato, its flesh torn and dirt-stained. Tears stung her eyes, her voice cracking with a mix of rage and despair. "What the hell did this, Casey?" Casey crouched beside her, his jaw tight, eyes narrowing as he studied the massive hoofprints stamped deep in the soil. Not who, Lynn, what? Feral hogs. In Texas, feral hogs are the stuff of nightmares. These ain't your cute barnyard piglets. They're the mean, tough-as-nails descendants of Spanish hogs brought over in the 1500s, now a full-blown invasive plague. They breed faster than roaches, outsmart most hunters, and wreck everything without a shred of mercy. To Texans, feral hogs aren't just animals. They're a curse straight out of hell. That night, Casey and Lynn weren't about to let those beasts win. They steeled themselves, grabbed flashlights and binoculars, and climbed into an old, rickety truck parked at the farm's edge. Under the eerie glow of a full moon, they waited, the silence broken only by the chirp of crickets and their own shallow breaths. Then it came, a low, guttural grunt, the crunch of earth being torn up, and the rustle of leaves. Lynn's heart pounded like a drum, her fingers gripping Casey's arm so tight it hurt. Through the binoculars, they saw them, 6 massive feral hogs, each one built like a motorcycle, with coarse, bristly hair and eyes glinting like cold steel in the dark. They rooted, chomped, and stomped through the fields, leaving a trail of destruction. In just one night, those hogs obliterated 0.08 hectares of crops, wiping out over 900 kilos of sweet potatoes, corn, and pumpkins. The lifeblood Farmshare relied on to feed the community. Lynn stared at the carnage, her chest tightening, feeling like her dreams, her home, were being crushed under those monstrous hooves. "We've got to do something, Casey," she whispered, her voice fierce with determination. "We can't let these bastards win." The next morning, Casey rallied the whole Farmshare crew, his voice booming with the fire of a man who'd had enough. "Listen up, folks. These hogs think they can run us over, but they've picked the wrong fight. This ain't just about crops. It's about our community, our dream. Who's ready to take him down?" The team nodded, fists clenched, but everyone knew feral hogs were no pushovers. These weren't just strong. They were cunning, the kind of cunning that made seasoned hunters curse and throw in the towel. Word around was if one hog escaped a trap, the whole pack learned to dodge it forever. But Lynn, her spirit burning brighter than ever, stepped up. "I've got an idea. Hogs love sweet stuff, right? Let's build a trap and lure them in." She'd read somewhere that feral hogs go wild for corn and honey. Casey gave her a nod, though worry creased his brow. Farmshare scraped together every penny they had, money meant for new seeds, and bought a massive metal trap. Lynn dove in, mixing up a bait so sweet it could tempt a saint. Corn soaked in fermented beer, sugar, and fruity jelly, its aroma so heavenly even she was tempted to take a bite. That night, they set the trap smack in the middle of the hog's favorite stomping ground. Casey and Lynn hunkered down in the truck, nerves jangling like they were in a horror flick. As the moon rose, the hogs came. Leading the pack was a beast so huge it seemed carved from nightmares. Black as coal, tusks sharp as daggers, and a presence that screamed trouble. Lynn dubbed it Black King in her head, 'cause it strutted like the ruler of all feral hogs. Black King sniffed the bait, edging closer, but then froze, lifting its head like it smelled a trick. The whole pack went still, eyeing the trap like it was a snake ready to strike. Then, as if laughing in their faces, Black King sidestepped the trap, leading the others to gobble up the bait without tripping the lever. Come morning, Casey and Lynn found an empty trap, nothing but a few sparrows pecking at leftover crumbs. "Those sons of bitches played us," Casey growled, tossing his hat into the dirt. Lynn, though, wasn't done. Her blood boiled, but she grabbed her notebook, scribbling down every detail. When the hogs showed up, how they moved, even Black King's grunts. "If they're smart, we'll just have to be smarter," she said, her eyes blazing with defiance. The days that followed were brutal. The hogs didn't let up, tearing through the fields like a wrecking crew, even ripping up the irrigation pipes and leaving the farm bone dry. Another pumpkin patch bit the dust, and the team's morale started to crack. Some volunteers talked about quitting, but Lynn wouldn't hear it. She thought of her grandma back in Vietnam, who used to say, "Strength don't beat smarts." Hogs got hooves, Lynn told herself, but we've got brains. She hatched a plan so wild it made Casey's jaw drop. Forget one trap. They'd lure the whole pack into a natural corral, a corner of the farm backed by a rocky hill where they could rig up temporary fences. Lynn had read that hogs run in straight lines when spooked. She pitched using every last kernel of corn in the barn to make a bait trail from the fields to the hill. But she wasn't stopping there. She wanted to go big. Lynn had recorded the hogs' grunts from previous nights and planned to blast them through a speaker at the far end, tricking the pack into thinking other hogs were chowing down. "If they smell food and hear their buddies, they won't suspect a thing," she explained, her voice brimming with conviction. Casey stared at her, half in awe, half terrified. "Kid, if this flops, we're done for." But he gave the green light, calling in a crew of professional hunters from nearby just in case it all went south. Farmshare poured everything into it, setting up steel mesh fences along the bait trail, leading to a rocky enclosure reinforced with stone and netting. The big night came. Lynn spread corn and sweet bait along the trail, the speaker blaring hog grunts into the distance. Casey, Lynn, the volunteers, and the hunters crouched behind bushes, holding their breath. The full moon lit up the fields like a spotlight, setting the stage for a showdown. Then the hogs arrived. Black King strode in front, proud as a general, its massive frame casting a shadow that sent chills down Lynn's spine. It sniffed the corn, wary, pausing just shy of the trail. Lynn, hidden nearby, felt sweat trickle down her face, her heart screaming, "Come on, Black King, don't screw this up." Then, as if hypnotized by the grunts and the sugary scent, Black King took the bait, stepping onto the trail. The pack followed, tearing into the corn, charging deeper into the fenced path. When the last hog crossed into the enclosure, Casey gave the signal. The hunters yanked the ropes, dropping a heavy net to seal the exit. The hogs went berserk, squealing and slamming into the fences. Black King roared, stabbing at the net with its tusks, but the stone walls and steel held firm. Lynn let out a scream of joy, tears streaming down her face. Casey clapped her on the shoulder, his laugh echoing through the night. "Kid, you're a freaking genius." That night, Farmshare partied hard, gathered around a roaring bonfire, cracking beers and reliving the moment they bagged Black King. But they all knew this was just one battle won. Texas was crawling with millions more feral hogs, and those beasts weren't going anywhere. Come morning, the hunters hauled the hogs to a ranch in Florida, where they'd be raised and processed into meat, turning a menace into something useful. Farmshare, battered but unbroken, learned how to fight back. Casey planted thorny hedges and installed motion sensors to keep the hogs at bay. Lynn, her notebook now a battle journal, started sharing their tactics with other farms. She became a hero, not just at Farmshare but across Austin. The real victory wasn't the crops. It was the spirit they forged. Lynn, once a shy kid, now inspired everyone around her. Hogs can ruin fields, she told the team, her voice steady and proud, but they can't touch our dreams. The tale of that moonlit night at Farmshare spread through Texas, a legend of a little farm that stood tall against a pack of monsters.